Welcome to the Urban Wall Street Project. I'm your host, Earl Christian III, of course, and today I have an amazing show that's going to definitely knock your socks off. I have some brothers in the building that have created some technology that has never been seen before on any portion of the globe. It's going to revolutionize the game of television and put you in the position to be a program director and possibly an owner of your own online network. Without further ado, I want to introduce the brothers of Open Visions Network, Mr. Sherman Bell and Leroy Gordon. What's good, brothers?
Everything's good.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Definitely had to have you in. I spoke to my brother Sherman. He was telling about what you're working with. On the telephone, we had a conversation, took me to the site. I was definitely feeling it, being somebody in TV and recognizing the opportunity of the individuals to possibly have their own networks. I don't think people really understand what I just said. Your opportunity to have your own network. So get your pen and pad out. Be ready for the website because it's about to be real serious. Brothers, I want to get right into it. Let's talk about Open Visions Network, the concept, the inspiration. Where did it come from?
Well, the concept is basically online television, for real. So there's a term called internet television that's been bandied around about on the internet, but there has not actually been true internet television until we created it. You have various sites like YouTube, Hulu, and so forth, and they broadcast like clips and so forth. But that's not, they call it internet television, but it's not. What we have is the actual internet television whereby when you turn on your PC, you actually are now in front of a screen that's broadcasting content, and you're able to change channels just as you do with regular cable television or your home television.
Right. And that's something I experienced when my initial conversation with Sherman, and he was telling me, I went on and he said, now type in 500. And that took me to, I believe, like
video on demand.
Video on demand. Then he said, all right, turn here. And that was the sci-fi, and turn here. So it was the actual same, it was like a parallel universe, if you will, of what you're sitting at home clicking with your remote in front of the TV, but this you can do the same thing with the laptop. And then he let me know, just imagine if you have a 46-inch TV, you can run your computer content directly into your TV screen, and now you have the same cable television that your man has, but you're probably paying a whole lot less because it's on your network. So I want to talk about that, Sherman, because that's what really impressed me a lot.
In addition to having access to a similar experience to linear television, you also have access to things, many of the programs that you'll find on your garden, run-of-the-mill television stations like YouTube, MySpace, the web properties, but then also your linear television properties like Comcast and Time Warner and so forth. In addition to all of the things you can find there, if we work out deals where we have contractual agreements to air some of their content, you will also find niche content, meaning content that you won't be able to find anywhere else on the planet, which is, this is something that people everywhere would like to see. Everyone likes to see things that they can't find readily available elsewhere. And the reason you'll be able to find it on Open Vision is because we give everyone, from the common person in the projects with his camcorder to major television networks, everyone now has the opportunity to own, man, operate, and control their own television network.
Now, understanding, me being in TV and understanding the power of the medium and the power of this medium, that just seems like an amazing opportunity. And I know celebrities, personalities, anyone who has a brand, or they themselves are a brand, I'm sure they would be jumping at the opportunity to have their own network, because if you can provide content, then thus you can actually provide individuals who have content, but maybe not the degree of content that you make, slots. So now I have somebody can say, I have my 60-second documentary is going to run on the Urban Wall Street channel, it's going to run on XY channel. Now I know you were telling me earlier, there's some individuals that are definitely in the game that are major players that are definitely looking at doing something with OVN.
Well, we have a couple. We have Ice-T, for example, celebrity purchased his own channel on Open Vision, his wife, Coco. And we're not talking about a joint channel. We're talking about separate, two separate channels, and they're not even stationed side by side. Because another caveat to Open Vision is that if you have a particular channel number that is significant to you in your business or your brand, you can request that particular channel. If it's not taken quite naturally, then we'll accommodate you. So Ice-T has his channel, Coco has her channel. A gentleman named Adam Beach, who is the He used to be on Law and Order with Ice-T.
Right,
he
right.
left. This is the Native American. He used to be on Law and Order with Ice-T.
Yes.
He left. He went to California. He's doing a few other movies now, some other things he's gotten into. But he's also the spokesperson for the Confederation of Native American Tribes and Associated Casinos.
Okay.
And as a result of that, he's purchased a block of 10 channels. So that the Native Americans, for example, and this is not simply something that is relegated just to the Native Americans.
Right.
Any group, any ethnic group, any cultural group, any group who has any particular specific ideas that they want to get to the world, they now have the opportunity to have their own voice, tell their own story through their own mouths. And for example, the channel that Adam Beach has started already, he already has content on one channel.
Okay.
Almost like, I think he said 90% of the actors and actresses are Native Americans. The executive producers, the directors are all Native Americans. Most of the land that is filmed on is owned by Native Americans. So these are now persons who have an opportunity to tell their story to the world through their own mouths.
And that is so profound and it's major. Now, some people say, well, that's what YouTube does. Well, I could do that with MySpace. But there's a huge difference between what OVN can provide and what these other platforms can provide. So I want you to definitely elaborate and clarify the distinction so that people can understand why OVN TV is something they definitely need to be looking at and getting ready to prepare themselves to get themselves a channel.
Well, YouTube pretty much allows you to upload content that you may have. So you film something in the bathroom, you upload it, you have a certain time frame, like 10 minutes that you could put it up, and that amount of content, 10 minutes you can put up, and that's pretty much it. But with Open Vision Networks, you can purchase a channel or a group of channels, and you become your own producer and also network executive. So now you are able to compete against the ABCs, the BETs, and so forth and so on. And we actually encourage that because that's not available at this particular time until we came up with this type of situation.
Right.
So now you can, if you have an idea for broadcasting various types of content, some could be your own, some could be somebody else's, in a network format. So let's say now, you know, ABC, they have various shows that come on 9, 10 o'clock on Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and so forth in various time frames. Now, if you can understand that concept and do it yourself, and you have content, you know other people that have content, you now have that ability to create this new network with new type of content, new actors, new people, new producers, new directors that are now in the game. So now we offer not just a production aspect, but a new venue for a whole new entertainment structure, a whole new entertainment industry.
Definitely. Now, I just want to ask, I may have asked it, so if I'm repetitive, just entertain me at the moment, because some of my people might have just tuned in. What made you gentlemen come up with this idea? Like, what were you sitting at home like, I'm tired of watching cable, we need something different. Where did the idea come from?
Well, the history, the Lord has blessed me with the concept and so forth. I'm a programmer, and so I know what can be done.
Okay.
And it was several years ago, since I'm always on the computer programming, the idea was like, man, I would like to watch television while I'm programming.
Okay.
So I tried a few things like connecting my computer to the television so it can feed in with the TV tuner. That wasn't good, and so that didn't work out. So I tried a few other things like, let's see if I tried this, and it just didn't work out, and it wasn't on the internet. So fast forward, I met with Doc and another partner at the time, and we were in an area, and I looked, and I was like, there was a television in the area, widescreen, and I said, we can do that. And they're like, what you mean, what we can do? What you see on that television, we can put on the internet. Wow. Meaning, actually what was on was the channel guide. And I'm like, we can put the channel guide and actually broadcast shows on the internet. And the concept is new now, and we already have it, so of course they didn't really know what I was talking about. Right. So I said, let me create a prototype for you. So I created the prototype, and they're like, oh, this is ridiculous. Let's get this. And from there, we just built the company, and we just started moving.
Now, what's important that I want people to understand, because they're listening like, that sounds cool. But and it takes a moment to internalize it. Me, I'm in TV, so I internalized it quickly. And the beautiful thing for me is looking at, I'm always about business and how can I create greater revenue? How can I create another income stream? Because that's what the goal of wealth. The urban Wall Street is about, you know, becoming wealthy, not becoming rich. Rich is right around the corner from broke. But wealth, you know, is here to stay. And so my thing is, when you think about it, you can actually have your own TV network. So people realize this too. When you watch TV, we all know that there's money in TV. Why? Because there's advertisement in TV. And that's pretty much what fuels the TV industry, advertisement. So if you can have an online channel, which is actually an online network, which is greater than the channel, you have a channel network, then suffice it to say, you could garner advertisers and sponsors for your particular online network
channel.
Right.
Absolutely.
And you can do it in the same way that television is doing it now. So if you think about ABC making several $1 million per quarter, if not billions, in advertising, why can't you do the same thing on OpenVision with your own network? Because you can do it because now you have new content that's not seen on regular linear television or any place in the world. So now you have a specific draw because this is new content. People don't see it. Like, wow, people see the Desperate Housewives. They can get that pretty much anywhere. But your specific new show can't be seen anywhere else, not on YouTube, not on Hulu, but only on OpenVision. People are going to go see this.
No question.
Because it's a new content, it's quality, and it's informative, something that's new, it can benefit the user now, or the viewer.
And all of that ties directly into a monetary gain. So what happens is you log on to OpenVision. And the URL is www.ovntv.com. Now, once you log on, you go to our launch screen. It takes you to our launch screen. You can click a button that'll tell you a number of things, but one of the buttons is that you can subscribe. Now, you subscribe. Subscription is free for the world, for the end user. You subscribe, you become a member. That's for the end user. Now, for the person who's seeing it from the opposite end, which is the individual who wants to make money from this, as opposed to simply being entertained. Now you see what will happen is that you'll find yourself in our walled garden. In that walled garden is any number of channels, from 1 to 1 trillion, because it's cyberspace, and therefore there's no limitations. So now a person, I'm going to give you a case scenario. A person purchases a channel. He or she or them or they get their content to us. Now remember, on OpenVision, there's no uploading and downloading. You can't just throw anything you want up. This is not YouTube. You get us the content obviously after we agree, we come to an agreement, we sign a contract, you get your content to us, we review it, and then we put it through a process that we call washing. And it's just that's just an in-house terminology that we use. But what happens is that, and the reason that our content, you know, when you went on OpenVision, you saw how clear and pristine your viewing pleasure was. The reason it's like that is not accidental. The process that we send it to is we encode it, but it's not just encoding and just watching to see that there's no glitches. We send it through a process that consists of a number of things. It takes us for an hour and a half worth of content. It takes us about 6 hours to put up an hour and a half worth of content. And that's because we decided early on that we wanted to have a quality standard. We wanted to make certain that if it makes it on OpenVision, that it reaches and is consistent with our quality standard. And so there's a few channels that are already up and running on OpenVision that what you would find is we didn't go through that process, but that's because the content, when it got to us, we realized that we needed to allow it to stay the way it was, because it has this little grainy feel to it, and that's because if we cleaned it, if we washed it and we encoded, we did our whole process to it, it would be so pristine and so clean it would look staged.
Gotcha.
You understand? That's a channel that this gentleman purchased called Felony Fights.
So he keeps it for the rawness. He wants that gritty.
He wants that rawness, gritty, that grainy look to it. And there are 2 or 3 other channels that are similar, like the documentary channel. We don't want documentaries, not all of them, to look clean, washed, pristine, because it looks like it's something that's staged. Some of the documentaries that we get, we leave it the way it is because the footage is what it is, and it's raw and it's real. But now, again, you're talking about someone who has a channel. Like we have a few people. There's a young lady in Boston. She purchased a channel. she has sent us some movies along with some interviews, a number of things. She has a variety channel. Her movies are clean and pristine. She wants it that way, and we want it that way.
Right.
And that adds to our legacy, a legacy that we are trying to establish, that we do not accept just any piece of content, even if you purchase the channel. It's in your contract. You can't purchase your channel, then come to us with a grainy bitmap piece of content and tell us, just throw that up.
In other words, things that were on YouTube quality, and
Right.
no, we're not YouTube.
We don't do that.
Right. Now, and that's what I realized when I watched it. Now, one of the questions I asked, you know, Sherman, when I was looking at it, I was like, yo, this is serious. And my wheels are already turning. And you said, okay, click to this channel. And then I clicked to the channel, and I think I was watching Blood Work, Clint Eastwood film. So I was like, wait a minute. This is an actual movie. You know, this is not rent-a-flick. This is not Blockbuster. This is an actual movie. So I had asked you, you know, because I'm like, well, wait a minute. You know, how you protect yourself? Because is Hollywood happy with this situation? Is, you know, are they seriously happy with this situation? Because it seemed like, you know, it can definitely, you know, nothing will ever cut in completely to their revenue because they're always going to get theirs. But it definitely seems like it can open up the playing field a little bit more. So I asked you, I said, well, how is that you were able to garner and broadcast some of that content that seemed like it would have been copywritten material, or, you know, you had to get permission? And you did give me an answer for that.
Well, there's a number of reasons. One is that when we're beta testing, you can beta test with anything.
Okay.
That's one. But also there's a specific law that was written by Bill Clinton, who at that time was a governor.
Okay.
It's called the Bill Clinton Cyberspace Content Provider Protection Act.
Right.
And that act was written specific and pointedly towards websites airing content. We're not a website. When that law was written, the software that we created didn't exist. And therefore, that law is not necessarily directed at us. However, we're so flexible in everything that we do. We're open. We air content. We have contracts where most of the content that we have is contractual. Okay. The agreements are in place. The content is aired based on those agreements. Then we have some content that is public domain. You air that content. Then we have other content that we simply air because the law protects us.
Right.
And I'm certain that he didn't write the law in that fashion so that it would protect us. It just so happens we read, we research, and when we read and research everything.
Right, brother.
And so it's not accidental that we stumbled upon it. It was destined for us to find this law because we read everything.
Right.
We study everything. We research everything. So now, again, talking about flexibility, we air this content. Right now, we're not actually making money from that particular piece of content. If we do, and this is also in Bill Clinton's Cyberspace Content Protection Act, if we begin to make money and if we can manipulate the content, meaning fast forward, rewind, and pause, then we have to notify the owners of this content that we're airing it, and then they have the option of asking us to take it down or entering into an agreement with us and make money. Because in the end, everyone wants to make money.
Right, and it seemed like, you know, why take it down?
It doesn't make sense.
If there's people, I mean, if you do TV, you produce TV, you act, you direct, you write, because you want people to experience your creativity, your content. So if there's another platform that can showcase that and get it out there to the world, and you can make some money off of it, why not? Especially if you're about wealth and you're about that residual and passive money. Exactly. It seems like a prime opportunity to get involved in.
And remember, we're not a website, so we don't concern ourselves with click-throughs and page views. Right. Which is, we've found, and research will make this evident to anyone who does even the slightest measure of research, that page views and click-throughs, you cannot monetize it. There's no real true way to monetize page views and click-throughs because there's no method of telling the end user, the content provider and or the advertiser who exactly is watching. Exactly. Because we already know that the Nielsen ratings is a joke. There's 12,000 set-top boxes placed over the entire United States of America. Brother, they're guessing. Right. They are guessing. They're telling, and since they were the only game in town, they can tell the advertisers and the content providers, this is how many persons are watching your content. Now, they can only, and the guessing game becomes even more intricate when they try to dictate how many persons from a particular ethnic group or gender is watching. Because again, set-top box one is in one house. In that one house, there may be one family with 20 people in that family, or it may be one house with 3 or 4 different families, depending upon whether it's a 2, 3, or 4 family home. Still one set-top box. So they're guessing. They don't know who's watching. Our technology, our process tells the advertiser exactly who's watching. Not only the exact amount of people that are watching, but the exact amount of persons in a particular ethnic group, a particular gender, and certain habits. We can tell them what region of the country they're watching it from. We can even tell you how long, duration of time. We can even tell you how long any specific person, any gender, any group, any demographic stayed and watched a particular show on any given day or night.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. And just listening to that right there, that right there in and of itself sets it apart. Now, this seemed like it could almost, you know, having people, you know, wanting to click on to OVN TV or their own network as opposed to watching TV, because you're in so much greater control. And in this time, you know, we're living in, we all want as much control over something as possible. Now, I want to ask you, how has the receptivity been? I know you have some clients, but when you go out and you talk to people and let them know what's coming and what's new, and they go check on the site and they get back to you, what's some of that feedback like?
You answer.
But yeah, you know, I'm excited, you know what I'm saying? But you know,
answer. The moment that I showed you, when I told you about Open Vision, I'm sure it created a certain, I could hear it in your voice. We were on the phone, I told you about Open Vision, and it created a measure of excitement.
Definitely.
But the excitement reached a whole nother plateau when we were on the phone and I walked you through the service. You actually saw it. Everybody responds the same way you did. Some respond with even more enthusiasm, but that's just their personality.
Right.
Some people fly off the handle, holler, and scream, jump up around the table, and so forth. But my point is this: no one, and I mean we do this all over the country, presentations all over the country. Not one single individual has ever seen Open Vision and not lost their mind.
And I can believe that. So, I mean, I can only imagine where it's going to be, but what do you want for Open Vision in the next 5 years?
Next 5 years, well, we wanted to, it's already all over the world. We're in 109 countries now.
Okay.
And just we want to grow into an aspect where we're giving more people more opportunities to realize to have a voice, but realize their vision, become a producer, become an actor, actress, get into new avenues of shows, new avenues of wealth building, so forth and so on. So we wanted to grow beyond what we're doing, but to empower others.
Okay. Now, as you when you're getting content, are you selective? Because you know some people might be so I want to get a channel. Do you require people to submit some type of content before they get the channel, or do they just get the channel and then submit the content? And the reason I ask that is because I got about 4 minutes or 3.5. Somebody might say, I want a channel. You're like, cool, I give you the channel. Because you might, some business is all about the money. But if you want about the dignity and integrity of OVN, you don't just want to have a whole bunch of people with channels, because then they might not have quality content.
Right, we interview the person first. Like, what do you do? What you have? And we see what it is, see what type of quality, if it's something that makes sense. Of course, if it's not pornographic and so forth.
Right.
But if it's quality material and they feel that they have a market, it may be something that we may not be interested in.
Okay.
But if they are purchasing that channel, they have the right to voice their opinion or voice their vision. And we allow that, as long as it's, again, not anything derogatory and so forth and so on.
We're just not really into censoring.
Right.
The only thing we would censor is things that are illegal, first of all, and things that are pornographic, because we just don't do porn on Open Vision.
Right.
And again, it's all about eyeballs.
Right.
Because what I told you a moment ago, that we don't concern ourselves with click-throughs and page views. The only thing left is eyeballs. Just like linear television. If a content provider has 500,000 to 1 million, 2 million, whatever, watching their content, the advertisers want their product where those eyeballs are. So it behooves a content provider, a network owner, to market their channel. While we market Open Vision as a whole, it behooves each individual who purchases a channel to market their channel to the world, so that they can garner the eyeballs that are necessary to attract the advertisers.
Definitely.
Because this is where the money's at. But now that's only one revenue stream. We have a number of revenue streams that are not available anywhere else. And plus, remember this. This is one of the angles that I like to address. when you go to a website, you punch in the URL, you go to the website, and that's what you'll see.
Right.
What you get there, what you went there to see, it's not the same with Open Vision. When you go on our television service on Open Vision Networks, you punch in the URL, you go to Open Vision, you go into the service, you're in the walled garden, you go there to see, let's say, a music video.
Okay.
You'll see the music video, or you went to see a documentary channel or a game channel. We have game channels, cartoon channels, whatever you went there for. Once that particular show is off, you can simply wait 10 seconds and another program comes on.
Gotcha.
Or you can turn the channel and go to another channel, and now the person who owns that next channel is getting residual viewers.
Excellent.
Millions of them.
Beautiful. With that said, that key word residual, you know that's how we started this show. If you don't have residual or passive income in your life, you might not make it in this new millennium. Open Vision's network will definitely put you in a position to capitalize on residual income, become that producer, that television mogul that you want to be. The internet is the world at your fingertips. Take advantage. Check out OVNTV.com. Get with these brothers. Get your network. Get your TV game going. The Urban Wall Street's going to be there. Like I say, always be mindful, be prosperous. Check out urbanwallstreet.biz. Join our business club because we're doing some things nationwide, international. It's going to be phenomenal. We want us all to be up at the top together. Like I always say, keep your head together, be mindful, be prosperous, stay positive, be progressive. Till next time, peace.
Peace.